What's up, everybody, and welcome back. It's part 3. It's assembly time. And sorry, I'm just waking up. I had to get my coffee. You guys know how it goes. But I'm here, I'm back. It's part 3, and I've got a whole bunch of parts that showed up. Those I'll get back to you on. Those didn't show up, but I'll explain that in a minute. But I got a bunch of parts now all ready for the assembly. We're gonna start putting the engine together. We're gonna put the trans on the engine, and we're probably gonna get it in the car. So I'm stoked on it. I hope y'all have been well. So let's get grinding. Okay, but first I have to do something about this engine bay. There, that's better. I've had a lot of people ask me what I'm gonna do with the engine bay. If I'm gonna paint it black, if I'm gonna paint it the same color as the car, just leave it white. But I decided to go with that. Thanks to Mike's idea to tie it all together with the theme of the car, we decided to do the engine bay too. So I hope y'all love it. I'm stoked to get the engine in the car. And yeah, let's start putting these parts together. Now I can kind of go over all the stuff that I got and, well, let's unveil this beauty. Oh, okay. I have some explaining to do. Yes, this is still on here. Yes, this is back on here. I'm not keeping either of them. I put them all together. Actually, you guys saw in the last video that I put the drive-by-wire one on here. However, there was an issue because this is 102 millimeters and the factory one is like 80. It was actually crushing the O-ring that was under here. I didn't see it when I installed it the first time, but as I started looking around, it was crushing underneath here, and I wasn't gonna get a perfect seal. And so I've been going back and forth. I like how the manifold looks, but I really think I'm just gonna go to the LS3, the factory one. Let me show you guys. I have it all put together. I have the drive-by-wire on here. I cleaned this up. This will be what's going on it. So now that that's all cleared up, that's gonna be another part. I don't know if I'm gonna go over it when I change it in the video. I mean, all it is unbolt, bolt on, but we'll figure it out from there. But anyway, so this will be going, that manifold will be going back on. I do have a dampener that I'm changing. For a lot of you guys that don't know about the LS engines, LS3 engine, there is a rubber like seal that holds this dampener together. It goes bad, and as it goes bad, the dampener will start to wobble and it can actually break off, and then all kind of catastrophic stuff happens. So before that happens, I ordered an ATI dampener for it. It's one of the best dampeners you can get. It's not a fluid dampener, but it's one of the best ones, and it doesn't have this. Other thing too, talking with Alex at SIKKY Speed Shop, he says that these bolts on the crank are garbage. Don't ever reuse them. Don't get a new one. ARP makes a really good one. So I have that on order too. So thanks for the tip, Alex. Yeah, I don't want anything happen to my motor. I've already blown up one of these LS motors. I'm not trying to have that happen again. But anyway, yeah, so we got parts going on here. So now I'm gonna kind of lay out what's going on, what I have. I think I have almost everything. The only thing I don't have is the engine harness and my fuel line. So that will be installed in another video. I don't know, like I said, it's gonna be like a 6-part series. So we're on part 3 right now. So we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna kind of lay these out, kind of show you what's up with it, drag the trans over here and kind of lay out exactly the parts. I also made a parts list for those of you that follow me on my Instagram. I made a whole parts list on LS swapping a 350Z or G35, which I will include down in the comment section or the description section. And at some point, probably at the end of the video, I'm gonna have a still, so that way when you guys watch to the end, you can stop the video, write it down, take a screenshot, do whatever you wanna do, so that way you have a full list and a parts list of what needs to be incorporated to make an LS swap go into a ZG chassis. So let me get that stuff together and let me start laying it out for you. Before I forget, because I told you guys that I was gonna figure out this line on the power steering rack, I bent over this one. I know there's a new one on here. I was trying to figure out a way that I can use like AN fittings that I can make my own line and possibly start making kits, but it didn't work out. It's hard to find metric ones that work for this and be able to set it up. So what I did replace this. I actually went to a junkyard and I started looking at different Nissan models, and I brought the factory one that looks like this. You can see it's all bent over, but I had the length and I had the fittings. So all I had to do was check other Nissan cars that had the same fittings, and then I kind of just contorted it myself. I was real careful with it, but as long as it's about the same. I think this came out of a Nissan Sentra. I'm pretty sure it was a Sentra. However, it wasn't bent to the exact thing. I had to kind of twist it around, but as you can see, everything works, everything fits. So instead of trying to buy a whole new rack or doing something like that, I strongly suggest pull the old one off. If you bend it over, go to a junkyard and start matching it up. Nissan cars are different than other cars, so I would pull that line off of a Nissan rack, but I mean, it worked. You can see everything on here fits pretty perfectly. All I had to do was pretty much just bend it, like I said, twist it a little bit, make sure you don't crack it. But yeah, so that's my fix for that. Sorry I didn't have something with the AN fittings. I was really hoping I was able to put something together, but like I said, it was hard to find fittings. It was hard to find stuff to build my own, and then get stuff for kits to build my own. So anyway, that's how that's fixed. Okay, now I have everything laid out, and you will see, bam, everything that is necessary mechanically to put the engine together to be able to get it in the car. And I'm gonna go over each thing. I'm not gonna put it together as I explain it. I really wanna explain it first, let you guys know, and then we'll start assembling and I'll explain it as I assemble. So first things first, you have the main component, the LS engine, LS1, LS2, LS3, LS6, all configure differently. The engines are built differently, but they configure about the same as far as what parts you need. So if you have an LS based engine, this will work for it. So first things first, you can see it is going into a 350Z. So first thing I had to do was change the pan. This oil pan is from Canton Racing. It's a front sump as opposed to a rear sump. If you guys watch my other video, you know that I had to change the pan. I explained what I had to do, change the pickup and that stuff, as well as installed the motor mounts and the shackles. These are kind of just sitting here before we go to put it into the car. But the mounts are also put on. And then on this side, this already has a mini starter pretty much installed on it. It was gonna go on a Fox body and it kind of goes the same thing. However, if you do get this and you don't have the starter already, the PowerMaster Performance mini starter comes with the kit. This is the one that you need. It has a plate that bolts to it, but it's smaller because there's not as much room in there and it kind of tucks in here. However, there is one thing you have to do. You can see that ear right there. I don't know where he got this starter, but this one doesn't have to be ground off. However, when you use that other one, if it pushes it in, you have to grind this little ear down so that way it fits. So I hope there isn't an issue with that. I'll kind of know as we go along, but yeah, so that's for the starter. It comes with a starter blanket. You put the blanket over the starter. Obviously, the headers come around it, and a lot of the LS engines have issues kind of frying the starter because of the heat. Temperatures get so hot that it ruins the starter. So it's a good thing to cover it with a blanket. And then, yeah, kind of go from there. That'll help save it. The other thing that I am gonna do, I got these headers. These headers, I'm gonna I'm gonna wrap them. Probably with the titanium wrap. I was thinking about ceramic coating them, but I think the wrap might actually be better in this case to keep the temperatures down. So now you can see around the front, that's kind of how it goes. The headers will go on. These are long tube headers from ISR, and they actually meet to the Y pipe on the car right in there. You can see they'll meet right to them. I don't have to change anything else on my exhaust. It's a really well done header. I really like it. So yeah, so moving on. Here is the power steering pump. The power steering pump from the 350Z doesn't work on it. So I ordered this kit from SIKKY. It's their power steering pump. It pretty much will connect. You can see there's this hole right here that you'll put this into, connect it, and it'll go down to the power steering rack. This is actually for a 350Z power steering rack. If you go on SIKKY, I think it's SIKKYmanufacturing.com. You can find all the stuff you need for your chassis. So this is a really good kit. It's really nice. It has AN fittings. You can see that. So that's how I will be hooking up the power steering to the car and moving right along. When you come back to the back part, you can see I have it on the engine stand, so that way it's easy, it's visually appeasing, you guys can see. But this will actually go, turn it around, like this. That's the starter hole right there, and it will bolt to there. And so this has all of the necessary bolt holes for the transmission for these, for the bell housing bolts, and then these will bolt to the engine. As I put it together, I'll show you guys, but I'm kind of just laying out what you need and what's necessary to put it all together. Next, Spec makes this clutch, or I mean this flywheel. The flywheel is for the LS engine. It bolts right to the crank with the factory holes. However, it does utilize a 350Z clutch. I'm still gonna be using mine. You can see it's not in bad shape at all because I hardly drove my other car. I have a 6-puck ACT clutch that will be going on here. And then this is the pilot bearing. This is a needle pilot bearing. You can see it'll go right on here and fit, but we will install this into the crank in here. Actually, I have to pull that one out. But when we go to do that, I will pull that out. So there's all of that. And then I have probably a fairly new throwout bearing, but I do have a new one that I'll probably change to just for the fact that it's already out. I don't want to have to deal with it later, and then I might save that for a backup. With the transmission, there is, you can see right here, it's kind of ground down. In the CDO transmissions, there's like this little hump right here that to clear the flywheel, you have to grind this down. So I already did that because I did an LS swap before. But yeah, I know, I already did it once and now I'm back at it. But anyway, this is pretty crucial because you'll put it together and you'll start hearing a rubbing noise, and it will be because it's rubbing on this. So grind that down. Okay, and then it comes with ARP bolts. The ARP bolts go into the flywheel, into the crank. Use ARP, don't use factory, use ARP. I can't stress that enough. ARP is probably the best stuff that you can use. Everybody that knows building cars, building engines knows to use ARP hardware. So yeah, use that. And then you have the transmission and the tail shaft here. For the factory 350Z, it's pretty long. This makes it so it goes directly into the hole for the shifter, but because this engine's so much bigger and scoots back, you actually have to shorten it up, and they give you this bracket for it. This bracket will bolt here just in a factory location, and then you have to bolt this to this, but you can see it looks just like the factory one. It just moves it like that much farther. So yeah, so this is for your shifter. And then you also have to change this, and that is the part right here that goes on the shift linkage. Okay, but before I keep going on, I have a little story with the headers. So when I ordered the ISR kit from ISR, they said that the only part of the kit to be back ordered would be these headers. And everybody knows that putting the 350Z or the LS swap in the 350Z knows that you have to kind of like finagle the headers in as the engine's going in. So that was gonna be a problem for me to be able to put the engine in the car because I'd have to take it right back out to get the headers in. So yeah, it kind of pushed off me making this whole video and me being able to put it together for you. And so it's kind of mid-March and I was waiting for them. I contacted them the other day and they said that it's actually gonna be on back order all the way until the end of April, which really messes me up because Mike and I and some friends are actually gonna head down to LS Fest. So if you guys are in the area, if you guys don't know about LS Fest, head out to Vegas. I think it's April 26th and 27th, 23rd and 24th or something. I don't remember what it is. Check it out on their website. Come down, say hi, meet a whole bunch of people, see a bunch of cool cars. Anyway, I'm getting lost right now. Anyway, I wasn't gonna be able to make LS Fest. And so I started panicking. I found some headers on, I think it was Amazon, and I decided to get them. They said they had 2 sets of them. Then I got the news that it was just a flagship drop, that it's still back ordered, that I wasn't gonna get it, so they refunded me my money. So in panic yesterday, we were trying to find some headers. Anywhere we looked, Mike was scouring the internet, trying to find them for me. And then somebody popped up, hit him up and said he's got some literally like a half hour down the road. And so I was able to get the headers and continue on this. So shout out to my dude. I'm gonna post his Instagram on here. Thank you so much, bro, for hooking it up with the headers. yeah, I don't know what his Instagram is right now, but I'm gonna put it right here for you right now. And then, yeah, anyway, so that's a little story with the headers. So without that man's help, without Mike's help trying to find these headers, I wouldn't be at LS Fest. I wouldn't be able to make this video for you, putting this together, and I wouldn't have the headers. So yeah, many thanks to many people. And yeah, anyway, that's what's going on with this. And so now I have the transmission is out here. I started cleaning it because you know me, I'm anal when it comes to cleanliness. So everything on here is nice and clean. And I was gonna start putting this stuff together, but I just realized this video is probably about 12 or 14 minutes. Yeah, about 12 or 14 minutes. And so I'm gonna keep grinding, but I think I'm gonna put out a part 2. So I'm gonna wrap this video up. I hope you guys kind of got a good idea on what is necessary for putting the LS stuff together. I guess this will just be a parts video because I'm about to start making the next video, putting this stuff together, and then that will drop in a couple days. So anyway, I'm not trying to tease you all, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends about it. And if you guys have anything, as I always say, DM me on my Instagram, send me messages on here. I love to know and interact with you guys, what you guys think. And yeah, so much love. I'm gonna get to work. I'll see you in the next video.